Listen closely. There are moments in your life when everything feels uncertain, when doors close, people walk away, and the future looks foggy. But I tell you, in those very moments, something sacred is happening. You may not see it yet, but God is at work behind the scenes. He is aligning, arranging, and orchestrating details that you cannot comprehend. You might think you are being delayed, but you are being prepared. You might feel forgotten, but you are being positioned. Because when God helps you, His help is not loud. It is quiet yet powerful. It moves through the ordinary moments and transforms them into divine appointments. When God begins to help you, the first thing that changes is not your circumstance, it's your spirit. Suddenly, a strange peace enters your heart. You may still be standing in the same storm, but your heart is no longer trembling. The winds are howling, but your spirit is steady. That's how God works. Before He changes what's around you, He strengthens what's within you. He gives you calmness that makes no sense to the human mind. You should be panicking, but you're not. You should be angry, but you are not. You should have given up, but something deep inside keeps whispering. Hold on, keep trusting. That whisper is not from you, it's from God. When you feel that peace in chaos, that quiet assurance in confusion, is the first sign that God is helping you. He is saying, you are not alone, I am here. The second sign that God is helping you is when He begins to separate you from certain people. At first, it will hurt. You will ask, why did they leave? Why did this friendship break? Why did that opportunity close? But one day, you'll look back and thank God that it happened. Because not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. God knows who strengthens your spirit and who drains your energy. He knows who prays for you in silence and who envies you in secret. So He removes what you cannot see. He takes away those who smile at you but speak against you. And in that moment of loss, it feels like a pain, but later you realize it was protection. That's how God helps. He subtracts before He multiplies. He isolates before He elevates. When you find yourself alone, do not rush to fill the silence. Sometimes the silence is sacred. It's in that quiet space where God begins to rebuild your strength. He shows you what you could not see while surrounded by noise. He reveals who you really are without the opinions of others. He teaches you how to walk in alignment with Him. And once you learn to stand alone with God, you'll never again depend on the crowd. You realize that solitude with God is not loneliness, it is power. The third sign that God is helping you is that everything that once felt impossible start moving in strange ways. Doors open that you didn't knock on. People come into your life carrying answers to prayers you never spoke aloud. It's as if life begins to conspire in your favor. You see, when you walk with God, your steps become guided. You stop striving and start flowing. You don't chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to find you. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. God has gone ahead of you, arranging what you need before you arrive. And when you see things begin to shift without your effort, that's a sign God's hand is upon your life. But remember this, when God starts helping you, the enemy also starts noticing you. Challenges will arise. Delays will come. Not because God has abandoned you, but because you are now on a higher path. The resistance you feel is not the punishment, it's a confirmation. You're getting closer to your breakthrough. You're walking into new territory. The pressure you feel is proof that you're being lifted. Do not mistake divine pressure for failure. God is stretching you to fit your next blessing. When life feels tight, it means expansion is near. The fourth sign that God is helping you is when He starts exposing truth. Suddenly, the mask falls off people. The lies that were hidden become clear. The situation that confused you begin to make sense. God doesn't want you living in illusion. He wants you rooted in reality. And sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth breaks your heart. But it's through that truth that God frees you. He allows certain things to come to light so that you can be healed, not deceived. You see, deception is comfortable, but it's dangerous. Truth is painful, but it's liberating. And when God helps you, He always chooses your growth over your comfort. In those moments, when everything begins to fall apart, do not despair. It's not destruction, it's construction. God tears down what's fake so He can rebuild what's real. He removes pretenders to make space for destiny partners. He ends certain chapters so He can begin new ones. The exposure you face is divine cleansing. It's God saying, you've seen enough darkness, it's time for clarity. When He reveals truth, thank Him. Even when it hurts, thank Him. Because truth is the foundation of freedom. The fifth sign that God is helping you is when your faith is tested more than ever before. You'll notice that just when you decide to fully trust, everything seems to go wrong. But this is not a sign of God's absence. It's a test of your endurance. God is strengthening your faith muscles. He's teaching you how to believe even when nothing makes sense. When He's helping you, He allows moments that stretch your patience, moments that make you question everything. But deep down, you'll sense something powerful, an unexplainable determination to keep going. That determination is divine. It's God planting perseverance within you. When you learn to trust God in the dark, you gain a strength that cannot be shaken in the light. You start to understand that faith isn't about what you see, it's about what you know. You know that God has never failed you before, and He won't start now. Even when your prayers seem unanswered, your hope remains alive. That is how God helps you. He doesn't always remove the storm, but He gives you the courage to walk through it. And when you come out on the other side, you are no longer the same person. You are wiser, stronger, and more anchored in faith. The sixth sign that God is helping you is when your heart begins to forgive. You see, forgiveness is not weakness, it's spiritual victory. It's a sign that you are being elevated beyond the limits of pain. When God works in you, He gives to you the grace to release bitterness. You stop fighting with people in your mind. You stop replaying the hurt. You stop waiting for apologies. You simply let go. That's when you realize you're not forgiving for them, you're forgiving for your own freedom. Because every time you hold on to anger, it changes your spirit. But when you release it, you rise. God helps you by cleansing your heart of resentment. Because He knows you cannot move forward with a heavy heart. He knows that peace and bitterness cannot live in the same place. So He heals you through forgiveness. And when you forgive, something supernatural happens. Your energy returns, your focus sharpens, and your blessings start flowing again. The moment you let go of grudges, doors open that were once closed. That's not coincidence, it's divine alignment. A peaceful heart attracts divine favor. And finally, the seventh sign that God is helping you is that your spirit becomes unshakable. You reach a point where nothing can easily disturb you. The same things that used to break you now only strengthen your resolve. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop seeking approval. You stop fearing loss. Because deep within, you know that as long as God is with you, you lack nothing. That unshakable confidence is not arrogance, it's divine assurance. It's the awareness that even if everything collapses, God will rebuild. When God helps you, He doesn't just fix your circumstances, He transforms your character. He builds patience, humility, wisdom, and endurance inside you. You begin to glow differently. You speak with clarity. You walk with peace. You carry authority that doesn't come from titles or possessions, but from the presence of God within you. People may not understand it, but they can feel it. You become a walking testimony that divine help is real. Understand this. When God helps you, it won't always look like help. Sometimes it will look like pain. Sometimes it will look like loss. Sometimes it will look like silence. But behind it all, there is divine purpose. The storm is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to shape you. The delay is not rejection, it's redirection. The loss is not punishment, it's preparation. God never takes without the intention to give more. He never closes a door without planning a greater one to open. So do not doubt when things fall apart. God might be rearranging the pieces to build something far greater than you imagined. Trust His timing, even when it feels slow. Trust His plan, even when it's hidden. Trust His love, even when it's silent. Because silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Every moment you are kept waiting, God is working. Every moment you are tested, God is teaching. Every moment you are broken, God is building. When you look back on your life one day, you realize that the times you thought you were being abandoned were actually the times you were being carried. The seasons you called painful were the seasons that shaped your destiny. The people who left you made the space for divine appointments. The tears that fell watered the seeds of your future. Nothing was wasted. Everything was used. Because when God helps you, even the hardest moments are turned into holy moments. So walk with confidence, speak with faith, live with gratitude. For you are not alone. Even when the world misunderstands you, God understands. Even when others forget you, God remembers. Even when you lose everything, God remains. His help is constant, silent, and sure. You may not always see His hand, but you will always feel His guidance. And when you finally reach that place of peace where your heart is steady, your faith is firm, and your spirit is calm, you'll know without a doubt that it was God's help that carried you all along. His help that guided you through valleys. His help that sustained you in storms. His help that turned your pain into purpose. For every moment of confusion, He gave you wisdom. For every heartbreak, He gave you healing. For every loss, He gave you lessons. and for every ending, He gave you a new beginning. That is how God helps His people, not by sparing them from difficulty, but by strengthening them through it. You are not walking by accident. You are walking by design. You are not surviving by chance. You are surviving by divine help. Even now, as you listen, as you reflect, as you breathe, God is helping you, guiding your thoughts, calming your fears, preparing your way. Every breath is proof of His presence. Every heartbeat is evidence of His grace. And every challenge you face is an opportunity for His power to be revealed through you. Do not be afraid of what's ahead. The same God who helped you before will help you again. The same God who brought you through yesterday's storm will carry you through today's battle. You have nothing to fear because divine help does not expire. God's hand is steady. His plan is sure. His love is endless. And as long as you keep your heart open, your faith alive, and your spirit humble, God will continue to help you in ways that will leave you in awe. When you rise each morning, remind yourself, I am not walking alone. I am being guided. I am being strengthened. I am being helped. And even when I cannot see it, I know God is moving on my behalf. Because that's the truth. When God helps you, no power can stop you, no storm can break you, and no darkness can overtake you. His help is the unseen force that carries you through visible trials. It is the invisible hand that lifts you when you are weak. It is the eternal assurance that you are never alone, even when you have nothing left but faith, that faith will be enough. Because with faith, you have the key to divine help. With faith, you open doors that fear could never unlock. With faith, you draw strength that logic cannot explain. And with faith, you move forward step by step, moment by moment, until everything that once seemed impossible become your living testimony. God is helping you. Not tomorrow, not one day, but right now, in this very moment, through every delay, every silence, every difficulty, He is with you. You may not feel it yet, but one day, when you look back, you will say with tears of gratitude, it was God all along. When God begins to help you, there comes a shift that is deeper than words, deeper than anything your eyes can see. It is a transformation that happens in your soul. You begin to notice that what once used to trouble you no longer carries the same power over your heart. You are no longer shaken by gossip, no longer distracted by delay, no longer intimidated by rejection. Why? Because you begin to recognize the invisible hand of God moving through all things. You begin to see that everything, both joy and pain, is serving a divine purpose. You start to live from a higher awareness, one that whispers, nothing can touch me unless God allows it for my good. That realization is divine maturity. It's the moment that you stop reacting to life and start responding with the faith. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, what is God teaching me through this? That is the sign of one who walks under divine guidance. When you live in that awareness, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become a vessel of purpose. God begins to use every situation to refine you, not to ruin you. What seemed like an obstacle becomes an instrument of growth. What appeared as a loss becomes a lesson. That is how God helps those He loves. Not by shielding them from life's storms, but by giving them the wisdom to dance in the rain. There will be times when you will not feel strong enough to stand, but that's exactly when you'll feel the most divine support. For God's help does not always arrive as a sudden miracle, it often comes as endurance. You will find yourself doing what you thought was impossible. You will rise from disappointments that should have destroyed you. You will speak words of faith even when tears are in your eyes. That strength is not human. It is holy. It is the strength that only God can pour into a soul that refuses to give up. When you begin to walk closely with God, your understanding of help changes. You realize that God's help is not always comfortable, it's corrective. He helps you by pruning away habits, people, and thoughts that no longer align with your destiny. And the pruning hurts. You will wonder why things are being taken away, why doors that looked perfect are closing, why certain opportunities are suddenly dissolving. But remember this, every no from God is a protection from what you cannot see. His rejection is redirection. His silence is strategy. When God helps you, He will remove what blocks your path, even if it's something you begged Him to keep. And while the world may see you in a season of loss, heaven sees you in a season of alignment. God is aligning your steps to bring you into perfect timing. You see, divine help is not about speed, it's about synchronization. It's not about rushing into what's next. It's about being ready for it. Many times, God's help comes disguised as waiting, because waiting teaches dependence. Waiting purifies motives. Waiting strengthens trust. If God gave you everything too soon, you would mistake His blessings for your own strength. But when you learn to wait, you learn to depend on the only source that never fails, God Himself. There will also come moments when you are misunderstood by others. People will not understand why you chose to walk away from certain things, why you refuse to retaliate, why you smile through trials. They will not understand because they cannot see what God has whispered to your soul. When you are helped by God, your perspective changes. You stop fighting for validation because you know that divine help does not need human applause. You stop chasing people because you realize that God's favor is more powerful than any connection. When God is for you, no one's opinion can block your path. And when you walk in that divine confidence, life takes on a new rhythm. You no longer panic when things fall apart because you trust that God is rearranging them. You no longer fear the unknown because you trust the one who knows all. You no longer cry over endings because you understand that every ending in the hands of God is the beginning of something greater. You live anchored in faith, unmoved by appearances, grounded in divine truth. But understand this deeply, God's help is not only external, it is internal. He does not just change situations, He changes hearts. He teaches you patience through people who test you. He builds humility through moments that humble you. He grows compassion through times when you yourself have been hurt. Every challenge carries divine intention. God uses pain as a teacher, disappointment as direction, and pressure as preparation. The weight you feel today is not meant to crush you, it's meant to strengthen the foundation for what He is building in you tomorrow. There is a beautiful mystery in how God helps His people. Often, He hides His greatest help inside your greatest hardship. When your plans collapse, He is teaching you to trust His plan. When friends betray you, He is showing you that His loyalty never fails. When you feel forgotten, He is inviting you to remember Him more deeply. Every valley has a divine voice if you listen with the ear of faith. And when you begin to understand this, your pain no longer feels meaningless, it feels purposeful. You begin to see divine fingerprints on every detail of your life. When God helps you, you also begin to notice that your desires start to change. What once attracted you no longer interests you. What once felt important begins to lose its hold. You become drawn to peace more than popularity, purpose more than possessions, truth more than attention. That's divine refinement. God is shaping your heart to value what matters eternally. He helps you by cleansing your spirit from the illusions of the world, so you can see with clarity what truly holds value. That shift in desire is one of the clearest signs of divine favor, because it means your soul is aligning with His will. And as that alignment deepens, your perception of success changes as well. You realize that success is not measured by applause, numbers, or wealth, but by inner peace, integrity, and obedience. When God helps you, He redefines what winning looks like. You may lose in the eyes of people, but you win in the eyes of heaven. You may be overlooked by men, but you are being prepared by God. You may walk a lonely road, but every step is sacred because it's leading you closer to the fulfillment of your purpose. There will come a time when you look back at the seasons you once feared, and you will see that those were the very seasons that molded your spirit. You'll see that the disappointments were blessings in disguise, that the detours were actually divine directions, that the heartbreaks were holy awakenings. You'll see that the help of God was never missing. It was simply mysterious. It was woven into every delay, hidden in every difficulty, and shining through every decision that led you closer to Him. God's help is not always dramatic. Sometimes it comes in a quiet moment of insight, a sudden sense of calm, a word that appears at the right time, or the strength to keep going when you thought you couldn't. It's those subtle touches that mark the presence of the divine. It's those unseen movements that carry the greatest miracles. For the most powerful help from God is often invisible. It transforms the heart before it changes the world around you. And when God helps you, He doesn't just restore what you lost, He multiplies it. What was taken from you is returned in greater measure. The opportunities that vanished are replaced with doors that no man can close. The people who walked away are replaced by those who truly value your spirit. God's help is abundant, it overflows. It doesn't just fix one area of your life, it renews your entire being. It's as if light floods every corner of your soul, washing away every trace of fear, doubt, and confusion. You may not see it now, but every challenge you are facing is proof that God is active in your story. Every closed door is a message that He's protecting you from what's beneath the surface. Every unanswered prayer is a sign that He's preparing something beyond your imagination. When you cannot trace His hand, trust His wisdom. When you cannot hear His voice, stand still and remember His silence. It's not absence, it's strategy. When God helps you, you begin to carry an energy that cannot be imitated. People sense peace when you enter a room. They feel strength in your words. You radiate calm even in chaos. That's what divine help looks like. When It takes form. It turns you into a vessel of grace, wisdom, and stability. You become living proof that with God's help, no wound is permanent, no mistake is final, and no loss is the end. And if you are listening right now, wondering if God is helping you, let this truth settle deep in your soul. The very fact that you are still standing is proof that He is. The very breath in your lungs is a sign of His mercy. The thoughts in your mind, the hope in your heart, the strength that keeps you trying, these are not random. They are evidence that divine help is sustaining you. You are being lifted even when you feel low. You are being guided even when you cannot see the path. You are being prepared even when you think you are forgotten. God's help is not distant, it is constant. It doesn't appear only in grand miracles. It lives in the quiet daily moments. It's in the wisdom to make the right choice, the patience to endure, the courage to forgive, the humility to learn, and the faith to keep walking. Every day that you choose hope over despair, faith over fear, and gratitude over bitterness, you are cooperating with divine help. And that's the ultimate secret. God does not force His help upon you. He partners with your willingness. When you choose to believe, you open the gate to blessings. When you choose to trust, you unlock divine flow. When you choose to surrender, you allow His power to move freely. So, if you want to see more of His help, keep your heart soft, your spirit humble, and your faith unshaken. There will always be noise around you, voices of doubt, fear, and distraction. But when you stay anchored in the stillness of God's presence, nothing can uproot you. You will move through life with a strength that cannot be explained. You will carry peace in the middle of a battle. You will shine light even in the darkest moments. And that is the mark of a person being helped by God. Nothing external controls them anymore because their help flows from within, from the divine source that never runs dry. So rise with confidence, speak with faith, walk with purpose, and remember, every step, every struggle, every silent prayer is being noticed by God. You are not moving in circles. You are moving in divine rhythm. You are not surviving by chance. You are sustained by divine help. Even when everything looks still, the unseen hand of God is writing your next chapter. And one day soon, you will understand why every delay, every tear, and every closed door was necessary, for it was all leading you here to this sacred truth. God was helping you all along. And now, as your heart reflects on all these words, let this truth echo within you. God has never stopped helping you. From the moment you took your first breath to this very second, His invisible hand has been guiding every turn, every decision, every season of your life. You may have thought you are walking alone, but look back closely. The footprints beside yours were never your own. Every fall you survived, every battle you overcame, every sleepless night that didn't destroy you, it was because God carried you through it. His help is not something you earn. It is something you live under when your heart is surrendered and your faith is alive. So when you wake tomorrow, do not wake in fear, wake in faith. Say within yourself, today I will not be shaken, for my help comes from God. And as you go through your day, remember that divine help is not waiting to arrive, it's already present. It's in your breath, in your courage, in your endurance, in your peace. The same God who protected you yesterday is strengthening you today and preparing you for what's coming tomorrow. You are surrounded by His wisdom, wrapped in His mercy, and guided by His purpose. Do not be deceived by appearances. Even if you see no sign, even if you hear no sound, God is working. He is rearranging the unseen. He is writing chapters you have not yet read. And one day, when you look back at this very season, you will smile with the tears of understanding and whisper, that was the moment God was helping me the most. So stand tall, keep your faith alive, let your heart rest in peace, because you are not alone, not for a single moment. God is with you, helping, healing, guiding, and preparing you for the greatness that awaits. And as long as you walk with Him, you will never fall beyond His reach. Every sunrise will carry new strength. Every trial will birth new wisdom. And every ending will open the door to a greater beginning. You are covered, you are chosen, and you are being helped right now in ways beyond your understanding. Trust it, breathe it, live it, and let your life become a living testimony of what happens when a soul surrenders to the unfailing help of God.